One thing you should know about Hyundai is that every time they come out with a new generation of one of their vehicles, it's better. Their cars have been getting better for years. One of the important vehicles in the current lineup is the compact crossover, otherwise known as the Tucson. This is the all-new 2016 version, and much like the rest of the Hyundai family, this one has gotten better. The new Tucson continues on Hyundai's fluidic sculpture 2.0 design language, which we saw most recently on the new Genesis. Up front, you've got the big hexagonal grille, you've got twin projector LED headlamps, you've got nice LED daytime running elements. For the first time on this vehicle, you can get 19-inch wheels. It's clearly a Hyundai vehicle. Hyundai has defined itself in the design segment, and that carries over to its larger vehicles like crossovers. Even though this is a compact car, it's a lot more vehicle than you might find on their sedans and their coupes. I like that the roof line arches back into this faux spoilery bit here in the rear hatch. The elements work nice. There's a little bit of cladding here, which you could live with or without, give or take. But all in all, it's a handsome, smartly designed vehicle. So the base engine available on the new Tucson is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. It's good for a little over 164 horsepower and around 150 pound-feet of torque. It's paired with a 6-speed automatic gearbox, and in terms of fuel economy, it's not bad. 23 in the city, over 30 on the highway, 26 in combined driving. Now, if you want to step up and get the new engine, there's a 1.6-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine available, which is what we have here, the T GDI. T stands for turbo. This engine is paired with a 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox, which is pretty much a first in the segment. We can't think of anything else that would come with that. That combination gets equally strong fuel economy numbers. You're right around 30 miles per gallon on the highway. If you opt for the Eco model, you'll see that number shoot well over 30, but we prefer the sportier models. And this is an engine that lends itself to a slightly sportier side of the Tucson family. It's got 175 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque. And of note is the fact that that torque is available from right at the low end, around 1,500 RPMs, up through 4,500 RPM. Just as we're fans of the design language on the outside, we are equally impressed with the design stylings on the inside. All of the materials seem nice to the touch. This soft material right here in the dash, the quality of the seats. I can't stress enough how far Hyundai's come in their seat construction. They're actually comfortable now. They're not just slabs that you sit in. The steering wheel feels good. Everything in terms of visibility is easy to see. The design of the gauges is nice. We've talked before about how we like the font that they're using. It's a nice contrast between the bright white lettering and the black buttons. It just is easy to see, which is nice when you're out driving. Additionally, you've got this screen up here, which you can split into two things. You can have your map up, you can have your audio up. We like the ability to do that. Another great feature of the interior is this panoramic sunroof. Let the light in, enjoy your cabin space, enjoy your drive. We love driving, and we love driving more when we can see the sky over our head. Now, don't get too excited thinking you're buying a sports car here. I don't know why you would think that if you're shopping for a Tucson. Anyway, you do have a turbocharged 4-banger under the hood, and that's nice. We also like that it is paired with a 7-speed dual-clutch gearbox. One thing I don't particularly enjoy is that they didn't give you any paddles. If they're gonna give you a more sporty thinking gearbox like that, give me some paddles up here. Down here on the gear shift selector though, I can slide the shift lever to the left and choose the gears that I want. Pop it back in D and just cruise. Still, on the highway, if I wanted to tug down a gear, I don't wanna have to reach down there. I would love to just grab a paddle and go. That said though, the driving dynamics of this are far better than you might expect them to be, because Hyundai has been hard at work on its chassis development. This Tucson is longer, it's wider, it's a little bit lower than what came before it. What you wind up with is a Tucson that's more enjoyable to drive. Like I said, Hyundai keeps making their cars better and better. This Tucson is no exception. And now with this little gas-sipping 4-cylinder turbocharged engine, you can punch it, let the gearbox do its thing, and go. That wasn't even in sport mode. This car does have driver selectable driving modes. So if you want to make it a sportier experience, just press the button, tighten up the steering, and away you go. The car will also hold its gear shifts longer too when you're doing that. One of my big knocks against Hyundai in years past has always been that their seats are not comfortable. This extended from the lowest trim car all the way up to the highest trim out there, be it the Genesis or the Equus. That changed when they relaunched the 2nd generation Genesis. The seats got so much better. There's actual support there. The materials are great. And now that knowledge that they've gleaned is falling down through the rest of the lineup. It's here now in the Tucson. These seats are good too. They're comfortable. You won't get tired, or you won't have discomfort soak in on a long road trip. And that's important out on the road. So the base level Tucson starts in the low $20,000 range. This one here is pretty loaded. This has the turbo, it's a limited, it's not all-wheel drive, which you can get. This one is front-wheel drive, so you can spend a little bit more than the $31,000 that this one has, but not much more. That's pretty much top of the range for a Tucson. So you don't need to spend all of that money, but you're gonna miss out on this cool panoramic roof. You're not gonna get heated and cooled seats. But there are things that you can live without. If you can sacrifice the roof and a few other creature comforts, you're gonna wind up with a well-equipped car in the mid to high $20,000 range that you're gonna be happy with and is gonna do well in terms of the fuel economy department for a crossover. So I gotta tell you personally that I'm a fan of wagons. I miss the proliferation of wagons throughout the automotive landscape here in the States. We don't have them anymore. It's because people want crossovers. Thankfully, crossovers are getting better. This drives better than crossovers of past. It has great interior features. This has more cargo space than the old Tucson that it replaces. I still wish we had more wagons, but if crossovers continue to get better and better, it's like a partial win. It's not win-win. It's like win, okay, settle. But you're not really settling anymore because you've got heated and cooled seats, big panoramic sunroof, really comfortable driver's seats, a great driving position. With the all-wheel drive version, you've got good inclement weather capability. This engine barely drinks fuel. I would love to see a wagon version of, like a Sonata or something, but if I have to live with the Tucson, it's not really making a sacrifice anymore. These cars are good now.